If you're a guy and you don't have friends, it's not always because you're a loser. It means that you're working on yourself and you're actually making progress. Not having friends as a man is not always the same red flag as it is for women. I give a full detailed explanation as to why it's a huge red flag if you're talking to a girl and she doesn't have any close friends. I'll leave the link at the top of this video. Because our society asks for a laundry list of talents, skills, and mindsets out of men, the growth curve that is required to be a successful man in our society takes a much larger learning curve for the average man. Because it's not just enough to have a job that can pay the bills. It's not just enough to have your life together. And although confidence does get you very far in this day and age, if you don't know how to properly direct it or have the maturity to cultivate it in the right way, the only thing you would really be offering is a bunch of confident stupidity. Being considered a successful man is not necessarily about the money, because there are plenty of men out there with loyal girlfriends that don't make much money. There are two incredibly important elements to being considered a successful man. These elements include the ability to successfully and effectively solve issues, and to have the unmoving ability to say no. No to living conditions and standards that you don't deem acceptable. No to men and women that show that they can't be trusted and don't have you and your best interests in hand. Being a man is very hard, and it's hard because it requires so much change. But for those who take the change is the reason you don't have any friends. Let's be real, change hurts. And it hurts because it requires you to kill off the sides of you that don't facilitate the person you're trying to become. But a lot of people don't understand that when you kill off parts of yourself, those parts are tied to people, places, perspectives, and ideas. And when you kill those sides off of you, the people that lived in that part of your personality no longer know who to be around you. And vice versa. This is why you lose friends. But what not enough people talk about is the fact that in that transition phase of killing off the sides of you that you don't like and building the new sides of you that you're trying to cultivate into a new person, finding meaningful friendships and even relationships are almost impossible. Because those transition phases take a lot of actual time and physical work. And in most cases, having close friendships with people that don't have your same goals can derail the person that you're trying to create. Now, although it is not impossible to find like-minded people, to get those like-minded people to actually want to be around you, it requires you distancing yourself from the people that are tied to the old person that you're trying to get away from. And that requires a serious commitment to solitude. Now, don't get me wrong, having friends doesn't necessarily mean that a man isn't working on himself. Just like not having friends doesn't necessarily mean that he is. Men are very good at compartmentalizing their lives. We are good with leaving the bedroom talk in the bedroom, the work talk at work, and the big secret a secret. Most men are fully capable of having situational friends. This includes having work friends that they have no intentions of ever hanging out with outside of work. Drinking buddies that they literally never hit up outside of them trying to go out for a night to drink. Or gym bros that are just around to help them keep consistent when they want to go out and do things fun. Men don't typically have friends outside of the hobbies that they personally take up. It's why online gamers tend to have online gaming friends. Fitness enthusiasts tend to have very in shape and consistent with the gym friends. But when you start the process of working on yourself, it can be very hard to find friends even in the field you're trying to pursue, simply because you just don't have their respect yet. And maybe the people that are already in that field are trying to see if you'll even last. So not having friends is not always a bad thing, simply because if you're doing things right and truly working on yourself, it's always going to be temporary. Simply because another component of growing and working on yourself is learning how to network with the people that share the same ideas as you. And being able to find them and gain their respect is what exponentially gets you closer to the person you're currently working on being. Now, there is a caveat to this rule, and that caveat is in the reasons that you don't have friends. Because if a reason you don't have friends is because you're hard to be around, then that is a red flag. But how do you know if you're that person? How do you know if you are the red flag? Well, it starts with being very honest with yourself and asking these questions. Do I have any real plan or goal for my life? Have I made any meaningful strides towards that goal? Do I not have friends because I'm not putting myself out there? Or am I trying to make friends and no one wants to actually be around me? And the most important question of them all, if I have problems, do I actually go out and look for books that help me answer and solve those problems? The real pandemic that a lot of us are facing is not COVID. It is the sheer number of people that speak before they think. They operate and base their lives on old information that wasn't even accurate when it was considered relevant. In the age of information, we're spending less and less time actually looking for the relevant answers to the problems that we have in our everyday lives. And it is only getting worse with the rise of fake gurus on TikTok and Instagram. People that are pretending they know how to do things and are proficient in them without having or even needing to show any credentials just because they speak very well. And they come off as professional. They are getting their information from Facebook articles that have more ads than actual source material. Every book can answer every question you'll ever have. It is your job as a man to learn how to ask the right questions so that you can find the right books to answer them. But that is why it is not a red flag more often for men than for women to not have friends, or at least very close ones for that matter. But if you liked this video, make sure you like and subscribe and tell your friends about it so that I can grow this audience. Because although I do like speaking my opinion based on the books that I read, I would also like to be able to do it and share my views with you full time. With that being said, your purpose is up to you. And the things you do with that purpose will dictate the places that you go and the people that you meet. Don't let your loneliness be in vain. There is nothing wrong with being a loser as long as you don't stay there. Because it is not necessarily your fault if you are born one, but it is your fault if you die one. So pay attention, and I'll see you on the next one.